All right, so now we're going to be focused more on the scapulas, and these are really close chain kinetic cars. And you can obviously do these standing. There's a video that you can check out on that one, which would technically kind of be, again, like your level 1. But this is going to make it a little bit more challenging, and here's why, right? This is something that I'm still working on myself, but what we can do is use the floor as feedback, and we can also use it as a point of stability. So in this quadruped position, I want to make sure that my elbows are fully extended. I also want to think about keeping my abs tight, and I want to tuck my chin and reach towards the wall in front of me with the crown of my head, so keeping my spine nice and long. All right, so now, right, there's a few things that we have to look out for, right? And the compensations, especially as we start to retract at the scapula, you can see now that I'm kind of doing it on purpose, that my rib cage is kind of flared forward, and also my head will glide forward as well, right? So again, the scapula is responsible for stabilizing the shoulder, right? You're not going to get nearly as much range of motion out of your scapula as you are your shoulder, right? I can move my shoulder in 360 degrees, whereas my scapula, right, as you saw probably in the other video, right, it acts very similar to the knee, right? Different, but right, it's not going to gain nearly as much range of motion as the shoulder joint itself or the glenohumeral joint. So when I'm in this quadruped position, I got to keep that in mind, right? And really realize that smooth transitions is the ultimate goal for this exercise. So as I'm here, right, making my hands nice and big, abs tight, nice and long through the spine, and I'm going to start by retracting. So squeezing my scapulas together in the back, keeping my abs tight, right? So that's about as much retraction as I have, okay? Then I'm going to think about bringing or pulling the floor together with my knees and my hands, and what that's going to help me do is, right, depress those scapulas down towards the rib cage, and then I'm going to push away and protract as much as I can, and then almost think about pushing the floor right away here, and that's going to help me again with elevation or upward rotation of the scapula. And then I retract, try not to let my head and rib cage flare. And so as I get used to that movement, I'm always creating tension through the floor. I'm trying to create as much smooth transition as possible. Okay? So again, creating a ton of tension. I'm ripping the floor apart, I'm pushing, I'm pulling, right? Because what that's going to do as I create that tension is it's going to get all of those muscles, those posterior muscles, right, in my upper back, posterior shoulder, my lats. It's going to get all that stuff involved. That's going to allow me to stabilize and control my range of motion, okay? So again, be aware of the compensations with the rib cage, with the head. The other thing too is when you correct those major two, the other thing that might happen is you might start flexing at the elbow, okay? So you might start doing this, okay? And not creating that long elbow, right? And that extended elbow here. So remember, that's what we want as we move through our range of motion. So that's the closed chain kinetic scapula cars.